Hello and welcome to the Mix Era Rap Podcast. I'm your host, DJ B Wise. This is a podcast where we talk about hip hop from boom bap to trap. We are in the building. What's up, family? You know who I got with me? I got my main man, Kev, the underground legend, and he's back again. The youngest in charge, Malcolm, is back. We're coming at you tonight, man. We got one simple thing we need to talk about. 2024 BET Hip Hop Awards. Was it worth it? Let's check in with the fellas and see where they are on this whole topic. Kev, how you doing tonight?
Oh man, excited. Excited to be back. Excited to really get into this topic and see what you all have to say, and hopefully we can have a very good discussion. Uh, I pray that we have some opposing viewpoints, but I don't know how that's going to look tonight, though.
Yeah, that's what's up. It may be a night where we're all in together on this one. Malcolm, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. Very, very excited to be here. It's a pleasure always to be able to do this. When we are able to get together on some good subjects and good topics. So I'm excited to talk about this, the BET Awards, and all the other things we have to discuss. Yes, very, very happy to be here.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. I just want to start it off, fellas, with I'm gonna jump in on and do Kev's thing and just give a rest in power to our man DJ Clark Kent. Those of our fans and listeners that keep up with us, we did a spotlight on DJ Clark Kent with one of his closest friends, our man Darren Pittman. Uh, and it was really it really touched my heart, doing that show with him. So definitely ask for uh, grace and mercy for his family during their time of bereavement. And I'll drop it into Kev's hands, see what he got to say about it. Kev, your thoughts?
It's a big loss overall because Clark Kent wasn't the typical old head per se that what a lot of people think. He stayed within the culture, and he was able to branch off into tennis shoes and pop culture. A lot of the sneaker focused podcasts and websites featured him a lot, so he wasn't a one trick pony. I knew I thought I knew almost everything about him, but then now he's passed on. I didn't know he was on Soul Train with Dana Dane, like when Dana Dane first came out, and that was just it just showed his extensive knowledge and all the connections he was able to make over the years, man. Like I said earlier, man, he just embraced every generation. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't one just to diss this generation or diss had something negative to say about certain areas of the country or certain, I guess, genres of rap. I mean, he embraced all of it, man. And he showed everybody love, and it's gonna be a great loss. I don't know who steps in his place, but I hopefully someone does, and hopefully it's soon because there's a spot open for that individual that can embrace all the generations, from the 80s until present. And he's gonna be missed. His impact is gonna be missed.
Yeah, man, I feel you on that one. It is a big loss. This I say this a lot, but this has been a tough year for hip hop. It's been tough few years. I mean, we're losing kings in their 50s, man, and
Yeah, 50. It's so young, man. It's just so young. And it's not like, I didn't even know he was sick. I think he had cancer or something.
yeah, he had colon cancer.
Yeah, he had like a 3 or 4 year battle with colon cancer. A lot of times you can kind of see the people kind of deteriorate, but you really didn't see that with him. So he was able to, still function and still do things. And you really didn't know that he was actually going through something. So that's a lot too. That's just a testament to what he provided to us. So yeah, it sucks, man. It just sucks.
Yeah, man. Malcolm, you got any thoughts on DJ Clark Kent? I know that he may be a little out of your reach as far as knowledge, but he was definitely a producer, produced a lot of hot tracks. He started off with Dana Dane as his DJ, but went on to DJ for other people and just was a consummate professional. That's what you'll most know about him. You'll probably know his sneaker prowess. That's what most of the younger people know. Take it away, Malcolm.
When you talk about a producer, a DJ that's able to work with some of the greatest artists of all time in our culture, it's always a tragedy when we lose these pivotal guys. This is at the level of if we ever lost, when we do lose Dr. Dre, when we do lose DJ Trauma, DJ Quick, all of these guys that put our without them, we wouldn't have these pivotal artists, these very impactful artists that we look up to today. So when you talk about losing someone at 58 years old, you know, it's never great news to hear this. So you talk about he's dealt with Notorious B.I.G., Lil Kim, Slick Rick, you name them. It's very sad to hear that we no longer get his talent introduced and implemented in the culture. So very sad to hear this. I'm not too familiar with his sneaker prowess, but I know about what he did. Surface level. You talk about for the rap game, for hip hop, and for the culture. So very very sorry to hear about his loss.
No doubt. Appreciate that. And we're going to move on to, I don't know how to, let's just, hey, 2024 BET Hip Hop Awards hosted by our man Fat Joe at Jay's Place Club in Las Vegas, Nevada. So fellas, I'd like to start off with as much um, positivity as we can, and then we'll get into the negative stuff a little later. I'll start off just by saying it was enjoyable for them to pull out a lot of older artists that we hadn't seen in a while. For them to bring out Soldier Boy, Two Chains, our man 3 6 Mafia. Having those guys out there was really cool. Juicy J, that was really heartwarming to check them out. And I appreciate them, showing love to Travis Scott. But we'll get into a little bit more about that reason why I think that there's some weirdness with that thing there. The freestyles. So again, we'll get into that a little later as well. I'll say another shining spotlight was that T.I.'s son Damani was, I he's continuing to maintain where he's at. He is doing a lot of great work out there. He is becoming more and more skilled in his abilities, and I thought that that was a nice look for him. We'll get into the awards part probably towards the end. Let's move on to Malcolm. Malcolm, any positive thoughts about the 2024 Hip Hop Awards?
I'm happy that they are able to do it for another year because this the awards could have been ended. They could have ended 10 years ago, but they are still going on, and I am happy to see that the tradition is still going on. And I hope it continues. But as long as we keep having good artists come through, good entertainment, um, for the culture, I think that it should continue. So very happy that it's still going on.
All right, let's throw it to Kev. Kev, your positive thoughts on the 2024 BET Hip Hop Awards.
Just like Malcolm said, that they're actually still present, that they're still doing this on a consistent basis. There is no other rap or hip hop media that is doing a award show on this scale. Everybody else, they do their awards and it's words on the screen, and you got to go out here and find it and read about it, as opposed to seeing actual trophies, performances, artists that are not going to get nominated or even recognized at the bigger awards like the Grammys or the AMAs or whatever. So, we still have BET, they still representing, they still showing love, and it's a beautiful thing. So, people had their opinions for the for or against, but I'm always for the for. I don't really expect a lot from award shows. I mean, I think that, over time you kind of realize that award shows can be hit or miss, or certain categories can be hit or miss, or bought or paid for, or whatever. But just putting people on this platform on, in a position that they can showcase their talent to an audience that may or may not see them, I think is great. And I applaud BT for still coming out here and still doing this. Because there is no other they have no competition, which is wide open. Like, BT's been doing this for so long, you'd have thought somebody else would have stepped up by now, and they haven't. So for BT to be the only one to have a hip hop award show like this yearly is incredible, and they deserve so much credit for it.
I appreciate that positivity. I don't have the same sentiments based on the fact that they are the only game in town, and they chose to drop the budget for this event, and it showed. It really showed.
I mean, I
Um,
I, I get that point, but there is ways that other for other hip hop media not to even, you could take four websites that are doing great, just based off of viewership and advertising. You mean to tell me that four of the major hip hop sites can't get together and do an award show? I don't mean like on the platform of what BET does, but at least a live show. They can't put a live show together. That doesn't make sense to me, especially in this day and age. Like,
well,
you could do it.
your print ones aren't making any money, and your digital platforms want to keep all the money. So that's the tough part
I
about
mean,
it.
but these artists ain't. I mean, these artists would love to get awards. You know what I mean? Artists don't get recognized.
Oh yeah.
They'll come up here and do it for free. Oh, you give me a stage to advertise to your audience for free? All right, what time I gotta be there? You fly me in, or I gotta pay for my own airfare?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I don't think they pay them, but I do know they house them and provide, whatever's on their rider. But in general, Double XL, Complex, and who else? A major periodical platform. I'm escaping the third one, escaping me. But anyway, they're not making enough money to put on this type of show. Which you got, digital graphics,
Man, yeah, come on, man. You got people sitting in their house that work at banks that know how to do all this stuff.
I'm with you, but I'm
And they
just
do
telling you they're
graphic
not
design.
willing to put the money into it. That's why we haven't seen the double XL again. That's why we haven't seen Complex do theirs. And I can't believe I'm a man of my age. I keep
Well,
in my
I'll
mind I
say
keep
this.
thinking about Vibe, and it's not Vibe magazine. It's
Well, I think at some point that the conversation has to come up, the impact of today's hip hop media. Like, because social media is only going to go but so far. And like you said, if you do have these digital platforms, or you got a Complex, or you have a whoever, at what point are they going to contribute more to the culture? Because right now it's it's so much right now that can be done to advance what's going on, that if you're not putting in an effort to advance it, then you're part of the problem. So I just don't see it though. Like it doesn't make sense to me where a complex or even let's say a complex or Rolling Stone or whoever can't come together. I mean, beat Billboard. Billboard could do a separate genre award if they wanted to, and it probably would be better for them to do it that way.
No, I mean they won't even give us extra categories. So why would they do a show for us? That's not. I mean, the
I
people
mean,
I
but
just
I
looked
mean,
up the
but
one I was missing, and it was Dope. And Dope magazine is they're new guy. They're the new kids on the block. They don't have enough money to put together a quality show like that. Go ahead.
I get it, but I don't know. I just feel like there should be competition, just
Without a
like this.
doubt.
Like the Grammys have the American Music Awards, and they
Yes.
have the Country Music Awards is a huge thing, and like they have the Country Music Awards has their own like organization that organizes the awards, the performances, the categories, the
Hmm.
location, and everything. And it's not a network. It's
Yep.
not a network.
Yep.
It's a company that what I'm saying, they do this. This is their job. Their job is to build up to the Country Music Awards every year.
Yep.
And I don't see why we can't have that.
Again, I've said this many times before. You may not see hip hop dying in front of you, but there is a illness in hip hop, and it is slowly deteriorating under the surface, and you're not seeing it. This
I don't
this
but
is
I
the
don't believe in
prime
that.
example of it. That this is probably not even. They probably use less than half the budget they use for their normal hip hop award show for BET. This was really low budget.
Okay.
I mean, you tell me.
I mean,
Compared
we can
to
move
last
on.
year, is this? I'm asking either of you. Compared to last year, do you feel as though this stands next to the level of production that they had last year?
I think what they did during the pandemic was arguably to me their best show.
Yes.
That one they did during the pandemic where they had no audience, but they was able to film in like 10 different locations. They filmed in so many different locations. I mean, these artists were able to do so much. To me, that was the best. Um, I wouldn't mind if they went back to that formula. I don't think you need a live audience, to be honest with you. I would prefer that pandemic session. Like I said, it was just you were able to get the artists had so much leeway. They had so many options to put on a great performance. Like what's his name? The baby. That baby the baby. I wasn't even a big the baby fan until I saw that performance he did at that that COVID performance where he had the old ladies playing judges and jurors or whatever. It was great. It was great. And I feel like when you give I feel like when you give rap artists, even today, the younger artists, an opportunity to shine, like a free opportunity to go out here and be creative, I think they exceed expectations. So I understand the budget thing, but I don't I don't know. I just don't know. But we can move on. We could be here
I know.
all
I
day.
got it. I got to hear from Malcolm on this. Malcolm has seen several BET awards, BET Hip Hop Awards. Tell me, Malcolm, do you believe that this show 2024 was to the standard of past shows?
Not at all.
And
I
that's not
mean,
me trying to be hard on them. Go ahead.
I saw the, I saw when I was born in '01. So from when I could actually, conceive or think my own thoughts, I was able to, enjoy music, appreciate hip hop, and found out there was BET awards and how important BET was to black people of all economic classes. And I just saw how it was a lot of structure, a lot of content previously in the early 2000s to the 2000s to the 10s. the teens of the 2000s. BET was a force to be reckoned with. If you don't want to be consumed by all the other information that's on, broadcasting, cable, now streaming, you go watch BET. BET had whatever you wanted black. Now it is grasping on to whatever it had left. We've, they've erased a lot of the segments that made the BET Awards the BET Awards. No one else has been for like Kev said. No one else is doing. It's no competition. Complex, Source, Hip Hop Weekly. What else? Vibe. What is it? I even put World Star. No one else is doing something that is structured to compete with the BET Awards. So I'm expecting you all to put as much money into it and as much energy into it to, be better than the years previous. I know the COVID year, everybody was on the screens. Everyone was captivated by what was on the screens because we weren't able to be in each other's presence. But now, I mean, it makes me miss the dancing and the ciphers, the artists being competitive to be able to get an award. It's not a Grammy or whatever awards you will receive as an artist, but it still meant something. And when I saw Travis Scott win his award, I was just like, I don't know if there's going to be a 2025. And if it is a 2025, it may not be a 2028 BET Awards because no, I think that although they'll say it's 30% up from the previous year's viewership, which I made sure I just got that information about this conversation. My own viewer, so I wouldn't know who else is watching it. But when you were witnessing what was going on, it felt like it was they remodeled the club, put
For sure.
cited, or this is one event before the next going out event. It didn't seem like it was for the viewers or for the fans or people that appreciate hip hop, rap, our culture. And too far gone is what I'll say. We're too far gone. And the music is also enabling us to get farther and farther away from what black entertainment television used to be. And you know, it feels almost as if we've lost or are just years or months away from losing BET. So what? Where are we gonna go? TV One is no longer TV One. Are we gonna where else? I don't know where else young black men and women can be able to be empowered by black culture. I don't know what other content is being broadcast nationally or internationally that we can go and receive that. So I know we began with how the positives, but there's a list. I can make a list over 20 different reasons of how this was not my cup of tea. And I don't believe my opinion is that jaded, biased. I think a lot of people could, if you knew what BET was, and then I'm talking about 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I'll give you 5. I'm not going past 5 years. 5 years ago, this was still something of substance that, and it's quite unfortunate because I watched it when there were ciphers when you had not only the artists were receiving awards, but the artists were wanting the award. Travis Scott didn't really want that award. It's something else. But is it something that he's, actively making music to attain? I don't believe so. So not the happiest. We can move on, but yeah, I
All
can talk
right.
more about it. But yeah,
That's what's up. I mean, hey, that's what this show is for. We need to get stuff off our chest. Again, I know I don't want to I'm in the mood for shitting on them because this is not up to caliber. It just was not. Where were the ciphers? Where were the better artists? Where was the theater? I don't know. So I want to get off that part of it. Let's start talking about the performances. Did any performance stand out to anybody, or was any performance lackluster? For me, I'm gonna start by saying I thought Two Chains and Juicy J's performance was really good. I thought they did a nice job again with what they were given. They weren't given a whole lot. They just didn't have the stage was teeny tiny. Let me say E40, amazing. Now, the effort that they put into the Flage show, her performance, I'm like, they could have done that much on a lot of the other ones as well, but it just didn't work out that way. So for me, what I would say about the performances, as well as the production on this show, I would rather see Tubi do a live stream of an award show like this and call it the Tubi Hip Hop Awards. I just think that it would work, and it would probably get more views than the BET Awards just got. I understand it was up 30%, but it was probably down 60% last year. So, it's just, I think Tubi is winning in the minds of young African American or Black society. So yeah, live Tubi, step your game up. You are asking for content. This is a perfect time for you to get in the game and do a live stream. And unfortunately, when you talk about hip hop, doing a live stream can be very risky. And I get that those dudes they don't want to risk getting sued because some artist does something that is untoward on the screen. So it's a tough situation. But I think that this if they're gonna do the show the way they did the show, if they're gonna make and even if you look at the artists that were nominated for most of the things outside of Kendrick Lamar. This should be a trap show that you do on Tubi, home of the trap movies. I don't know anything. For me, that's what I'm going to say. I'll let Kev or Malcolm jump in here, but for me, those were the people I thought did a very nice job. I was almost going to say 301 Baby, but then it was it didn't turn out the way I thought it was. So, fellas, any comments on the performances, good or bad? You don't have to follow in my footsteps and shit on the BET Awards.
Usher tribute. I am not 50-50. I'm more 60%. What was the list of people that they had do it? When I look back at the list, you got Glorilla, you got Ice Spice, Lotto. I'm gonna skip past Lauren Hill, Margie Marley. You got Megan Thee Stallion, Sexy Red, Tyler. I just picked out the people that I didn't believe should have contributed to that tribute. He said it's a lifetime achievement award, and they did for 15 minutes. Or a little over 15 minutes. They dedicated it to him. BET, Black Entertainment, Hip Hop Culture, R&B Culture, and it's Usher. You could have brought out. Uh, where was Nelly? Where was Chris Brown? Where were I mean, I don't want to go. I could get the listing people, but I didn't really like that tribute that they did. Shabuzi. I mean, I think that he should have been implemented in this. I think he should have been a part of it. But Yeah, that tribute didn't. It was not my cup of tea at all. I didn't enjoy that. Big Boogie Glorilla, they are a great duo. And if they're not touring together now, then they should be, because both of them have a southern twang to them, and enjoy their music. E40, that I always love to see E40 because I think that if you're not appreciating that time of music, then you don't know the history, and you're not, whatever you're doing past that is not honoring the history. And Soldier Boy, great to see Soldier Boy doing the crank that and all of that. He's not as young as he used to be and as energetic, but I definitely enjoyed seeing him do his thing on stage. The stage was very small. I didn't like that. I don't know why the stage was so small. It seemed like everyone was piled in there. What was it, the Peacock Stadium, or it was I think it was the Peacock Stadium or something like that.
No, it was Jay's Club
And
in Las Vegas.
Jay's Club.
In
So they're
Las
in the
Vegas.
club. They don't even
Yes.
have, yeah, the venue is not even big enough for, well, it was big enough for, I guess, BET this year. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I don't know what else
All
to say.
right, that's what's up. Kev, any thoughts on the performances, good or bad?
I think I do. I agree with everyone else. The venue wasn't the right venue for this setting, and I think it played a huge part into uh how things went on. I'm not a fan of Fat Joe either. I'm not the biggest Fat Joe fan. Not to say that I haven't listened to his music or wasn't a fan of his music. He's not a great host to me, and him Fat Joe as the host, it just I couldn't get into it at all. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but hosting an award show, he's not that guy. Like I wasn't a real big fan of his podcast, and I don't even know if he still have it, but I just he's not one of those people to me. Like if T.I. would have been the host, I think it would have been a different story, and I think it would have presented a different vibe. So I didn't expect a lot from the show at all after they said Fat Joe was the host. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people kind of dog the party atmosphere of it. I wasn't I wasn't a negative person on it because I feel like you have to give the people something, or you have to create a certain atmosphere to get everyone engaged, because uh today's time people would leave, you know what I mean? Like it ain't nothing for people like, all right, I'm bored, I'm gonna go it on to somewhere else. What's going on today? Let's find another party spot and get up and leave. And you may or may not have received your award yet. They'll look at BT like, oh, it's only BT. Are we really tripping off of that? So it's to create a scene to keep people engaged. I think is a plus to them. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't want to admit that. I'll say this. If the BET Wars don't last that much longer, it wouldn't be a surprise to me. But does you know, another group or whatever step up to fill that void? But yeah, it was a hard one to kind of figure out because it was, Kendrick, it was on this high, and BT takes pride in kind of recognizing those who don't get recognized by other outlets, but you knew Kendrick was going to dominate the whole show anyway, so that was another thing that took away from the show. So it wasn't a great year. And it wasn't going to be a great year, and it wasn't going to be a great show. It doesn't matter who performed, who came out, who presented, who won. It wasn't going to be great because you knew Kendrick was going to be the focus. I think you kind of knew that early on. So you got Kendrick You know who's going to be the focus, and Fat Joe, your host. I mean, expectations were low, so I don't know what could you couldn't expect or really probably enjoy it like you wanted to.
No, I feel you on that. So here's the thing. Fat Joe is on a run right now. The success of his podcast has now gotten him an interview show on Stars. I don't know how well it's doing as far as viewership, but it does come on after the Power series, which should help it. His management company and agents are trying to put him into second position behind Snoop Dogg as far as the face of hip hop. I mean, he's had very little controversy in his career outside of some small beefs here and there with his own factions at that. He's been with the same woman for many years. He's a model citizen as far as hip hop is concerned, and that's why they're putting him forward in these positions. And I don't hate on him being the host. I hate on the fact that yeah, you're gonna give Kendrick all these awards, but you wouldn't spend a quarter of your budget to pay him to come and accept the award. I mean, I'm pretty sure Travis didn't show up for free. Some of the other artists, I feel like they showed up for free, but that's a little disturbing to me that you would do that. And like Kendrick, yeah, you're trying to roll off his hype, but not having him there, or not at least having him call in. So don't spend a quarter of your budget. Spend 5/8 of your budget to get him on video to accept the award. It just seems so weird. And now that I'm hopefully going to be able to, you guys want to transition into this, I do want to say that anyone enjoy the Jawan freestyle. I'll take your silence as no one enjoyed the Jawan freestyle.
I mean, I, I think it's one of those things. Like I'll go back. I think it's one of those things. It depends on your approach going into the show, because if your expectations were low and they didn't get exceeded by a wide margin, a whole bunch of stuff will go over your head. You will miss a lot of stuff. So unless I don't have notes in front of me, so I can't really say, oh, I remember this, or this was impactful, or what about this, or this, or this, or this. I mean, it wasn't a memorable show. Like, I mean, like as far as the positives, just like you said, let's start off with the good before we jump into the bad. And our good was very small. So, and normally the ciphers get some coverage. This year they didn't. So that says a lot. Normally, you'll see them. Somebody post them on social media, or one of the rap sites would kind of you know take bits and pieces or edits a couple of the ciphers, and then kind of get some legs. Maybe 2-3 weeks after the awards. But this year I haven't seen any this year.
No, they abandoned the ciphers this year. The freestyles were the highlight of the show, as well as it seems like they put a heavy amount of effort into spotlighting Flage. That's what I believe.
But
And
I don't think
again,
I don't. I mean, I don't remember even seeing like highlights of the show. Like even people posting something on their site, or even the big name rap sites, even saying, "Hey, this performance was memorable. This freestyle was memorable. This was a great moment." I don't remember seeing none of that. I might
no.
have missed it, but I don't remember seeing none of that. And I think it's a fluke year, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a fluke year.
I don't even think Hip Hop DX even did anything about it. Again, I just find it all disturbing that these major uh, platforms just didn't do anything about it. So I'm looking here.
It happens though. It happens.
Yeah, Hip Hop DX didn't mention anything about it.
Every year can't be noteworthy or perfect. Sometimes you got to take a hit. It just was a bad year. Like it was a bad year. we've been talking about it, like who's really putting out big and impactful music, or who's really putting that stamp on the rap scene right now. And Kendrick was able to dominate the year, even though he had what Kendrick had what a 2 month run, to be honest.
No doubt. It was all it was. It was 2 months for the
It
beef.
was it was 2 months. He had his future feature. He had his thing with Drake, and that 2 months grew legs to go the whole year. And so many people got lost in the shuffle. And that's what used to be great about the BET Awards, is that those who got lost in the shuffle were able to get some shine, but it don't feel like that this year. It just feel like, okay, this is Kendrick's year. We ain't gonna really pay attention to a lot of others. So okay, whatever. We'll see you in 25. So
Yeah. So I was trying to double check to make sure. I do try to give every opportunity I can to support this thing we call hip hop, our genre. And I'm not seeing anything. I checked Double XL, Complex, Dope, Hip Hop DX, and you know what? And really, Source is really not the move anymore. If you're really trying to stay up on what's happening right now, they're just in a dark space. So I don't know. I'll peek here and just see. Yeah, not even the Source had anything about it. So it, that's the crazy part. It was nothing on the radar for it, and we will finish it off because I really want to get into we're going to get into this. Hopefully we don't fall into a rabbit hole, but I just want to get into the winners of the awards, and I will give the winners of the awards to the fellas and let them and see where they are with it, and we'll go from there. Let's check it out. So we have at hip hop duo of the year was Future and Metro Booming. The confusing part for me was that they were on last year's hip hop awards as well. So it just didn't make sense to me. And Common and Pete Rock's album came out this year, and I'm like, it did well on the charts, and it didn't win. So that's just my gripe. Let's move on to Breakthrough Artist of the Year, Sexy Red. Undoubtedly, you cannot say anything but Sexy Red was the Breakthrough Artist of the Year. She was a bulldozer in music. So for sure her. Getz for international, I would defer to Kev on this. He may have heard a little bit more of him. I know of his music, but I didn't know if he had that hot of a project this year. If he did have a hot project this year, I want to get us on that and spotlight him on that. So Kev, we'll let Kev jump into that, but let me keep moving on. I want to skip over album just because that's where I have my biggest gripe at. My next biggest gripe, which we can we'll get into. Fellas, do y'all want to take this slowly or do you want to jump into this? Because hip hop platform, Club Shay Shay, I just find that to just be downright ignorant. Cause I'm like, Club Shay Shay is hip hop? When did Club Shay
I
Shay?
mean, but like I said, this is a down year for the award show. So it's not hip hop at all. You know what I mean? It ain't hip hop at all. So it's he I think he surpassed whatever audience was his attended audience in the beginning. He's pop culture now. He's been
Yeah,
part of
but
pop
he didn't
culture. But
have that many hip hop artists on his platform. Who did he have? He had LL. Who else did he have?
Glorilla,
He had Glorilla. Two.
uh,
I don't
did he
know of
have
any.
Cube? Did he have Cube at one
I don't
point?
think so. I don't remember him having very many. He had a bunch of comedians. He had the vice
Yeah,
president. He had some
yeah.
stars, like some movie stars. But as far as hip hop, I don't remember him having a bunch of hip hop artists. So that's the only reason why I'm like, that's crazy to me that he got it. So And
I mean, but
then
it's the biggest thing out there, so it's hard to say. It's
yeah, yeah,
hard
yeah.
to.
This has been a great year for Shannon Sharp. This and Club Shay Shay, great year. Now, I don't know. I mean, and then the last two that I think were just right, except for, you know what, I did not look at performances who she ran against. Let's look at performances. I just want to look very quickly. Hip hop platform, hip hop video, live performances. Here we go. Who she go against?
I don't like none of this.
Okay, so I'm looking at the list. Of that list, yeah, she probably should have won. So the winner of hip hop performances was Missy Elliott. I'm looking at who she went up against. Eh, she probably should have won. She probably, her show is amazing. And then DJ and producer, our boy The Alchemist, and he you know, I think he deserved it this year. He had a lot of hot fire. If it wasn't him, I'd say Pete Rock. I think Pete Rock really put in some work. Um, you know, they weren't going to spread it around. I think Mustard could have been in there as well, but it is what it is. As a matter of fact, Hit Boy could have been in there too, but it is, and Metro Boomin. I mean, Metro Boomin won Duo of the Year with Future, so he could have been in there. But we're going to go back to what I find truly egregious. Okay, so let's go back to Album of the Year. Forgive me for not knowing whoever everyone was. Okay, Album of the Year: Utopia, Travis Scott; American Dream, 21 Savage; We Don't Trust You, Future, Metro Booming; Earth, Earth Thang, Glorilla; Megan the Stallion; One of One, Gunna; For All My Dogs, Drake; In Sexy We Trust, Sexy Red; and Pink Friday 2, Nicki Minaj. Utopia did better as far as selling than all of these albums. So for that not to have won, I don't understand. And then Gunna's One of One sold incredibly well. I'm not saying that Pink Friday 2 didn't sell well, but if you're talking about albums that sold very well this year, it was the Travis Scott, the Future, American Dreams, and then Drake from All My Dogs. Those sold very well. So I don't know what the criteria for that is, but I just find it disturbing that you give this man I Am the Hip Hop Award, but you don't give him Album of the Year when his album sold the best. I don't understand that. Please help me. Malcolm, any thoughts on Nicki Minaj winning Best Album of the Year with Pink Friday 2 over Drake? I'm sorry, over Travis Scott's Utopia.
I don't know. What am I supposed to say to that? I don't enjoy Nicki Minaj. Utopia. I'm not a fan of either projects, so my opinion is not going to be the best.
You didn't
But
like Utopia?
I may not even have fully listened to 5 songs.
It was a lot of it
So
was a lot of tracks on that album. It was a lot of tracks, but
I know for a fact I didn't listen to more than 5 songs. And both of the artists are. Travis is still popular, but he is about to hit his, like, he's about to be like Drake in regards to you're still putting music out because you were popular, and since you were popular, you will still be popular as long as you don't make music that is god awful. Nicki Minaj, she has a cult fan base just like Travis, but her there are too many people that are younger than her that are putting out newer music than her that she would have to compete with. But hey, great job, Travis. Continue to win awards and continue to give announcement speeches like that. So
yeah, I'll give him credit. The acceptance speech he gave was level-headed, well thought out, and I gained a little bit more respect for the young man. I just want to go over before I let everybody else jump into this. As of October 16th, 2024, the top selling albums of rap albums, right? We Don't Trust You. We know that's Future and Metro Booming, 1.3 million. For All the Dogs, 1.1 million. That's Drake. And then number 3, Utopia. It's interesting. And then 21 Savage with American Dreams. And Kanye West, Vultures is in here. Curtain Call, The Death of Slim Shady, and then Pink Friday is below The Death of Slim Shady as far as album sales. I guess we could look up best streaming. We can do that. Best streaming rap album. Anybody want to jump in here while I'm looking up the best streaming album of 2021? It is an interesting thing we are having here, man. I tell you what, this is wild. Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
I think Nicki was a shock to me also. Um yeah, I think, Travis, because he did have a great year. Gunna had a great year. Um my pick, when I saw this, I picked Drake because out of everybody, I enjoyed Drake's album the most. But um yeah, for Nicki to win over Megan and Travis and Gunner and even 21 was a shock. Honestly, I think Nicki should have won for live performance because her tour was, I mean, she sold out all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And it was videos from her tour just going viral.
Yeah.
So, like, how does she not win live performance? Because Nicki doesn't get a lot of recognition, but for social media to embrace her live show is something that should have been recognized, in my opinion. But Pink Friday 2 was okay, but I don't think it was better than most of the albums it was going against.
For sure, man. I'm just looking here. Most streamed rap albums 2024, 1.4 billion Utopia, 1.2 billion Vultures, 1.2 billion American Dreams, 21 Savage, 1.1 billion For All the Dogs, Drake, We Don't Trust You, 1 billion. Heroes and Villains, 730 million. She's not here. It's not here. Slim Shady, The Death of Slim Shady's next. It's just not there. I don't know. Again, I don't know what their criteria is to win this award, but I find it egregious. I find most of the things that BET did for this show very egregious. I beg of them to either come back 10 times stronger next year or just let it go, man. Let it go. I think that if BET drops the BET Hip Hop Awards, I know you guys think I'm being funny when I say this. I think Tubi will pick it up. Tubi is right now slowly becoming a juggernaut in content, and they are willing to put out a lot of content. So
I don't think Tubi would touch it because Tubi, I don't know. I don't think Tubi wants to specialize themselves like that.
no, but I do think that because of a lot of their movies are hip hop centric, trap centric, and that they get a lot of black viewership for one night, they'd let this stream. Yeah, they throw it on the platform and say,
I
"Hey,
mean, but their major thing is independent movies and what is it called? Taking move. Their new movies
yeah,
are independent movies.
yeah, they're the
Like
independent kings right now."
all that major label stuff is syndicated. That's what it's called. They syndicate a lot of the other stuff, so it's not part of their format. So I don't know if it's something that'll fit within what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but like Malcolm said, I don't know any other platform, whether it be cable, network, or streaming, that would pick this up other than, Aspire's not going to do it, Clio's not going to do it,
So you're
Byron
saying that
Allen's
so you're
channels are not going to
saying
do it.
The Tubi Hip Hop Awards. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying Tubi Hip Hop Awards. Initially, I thought live stream it, but then I was like, the level of risk that you have to take doing a live stream with hip hop artists is probably bad. So don't do that. But yeah, and they could, whatever amount of money that they put into the Hip Hop Awards this year, Tubi can duplicate that. You don't think Tubi can duplicate what we just saw from the BET Hip Hop Awards? I assure you, Tubi can compete with that.
Not only could they duplicate it, the venue would be larger. The acts would want to come specifically off of, I'm calling on behalf of Peacock. Hey Kendrick, we know we're doing a hip hop awards trying to keep the BET Award show going. We're willing to pay X number of dollars for you to attend. And they can do that 10 more times to people that would draw more eyes for them to do their first. I think so. I think so. They just need another platform that is
Yeah.
new. It doesn't need to have the history that BET did.
Why can't we just say BT had a bad year?
Because they've
Why
had
can't we just
multiple
say
bad
it though?
years. I can't
No,
remember the last time
man.
I wanted to watch the show.
Go look at them
You know,
pandemic shows, man. Them
Yeah, the
pandemic shows were
pandemic
great.
shows was off the chain. Yeah.
Them
the
pandemic
They were
shows
hitting
were
on all
great,
COVID.
cylinders.
man.
What was Tory Lane's thing that he did?
I
What was
don't
that?
know.
Shoot, that was
The
years ago.
verses, the verses, the verses popularity, and when they did COVID TV or whatever it was, when people were doing live streams, all the artists, big artists, were doing live streams on during COVID since we couldn't get out. They garnished way more eyes. I feel as though that could compete with what the ratings were from the BET Awards. So if those two avenues worked, they don't even do. Why don't they do a versus for the BET Award? They should have added that. That could have been cool.
It's played
Uh,
out. That's why nobody
Yeah,
wants to see
versus has
versus
I
no
died
more.
think.
out. All the
Uh,
major artists that could actually compete with each other, they've done their verses, and even versus the app, they've died out. It's not that was not going to be long lived just because when you talk about relevant artists that can compete against one another or who would be willing to compete against one another, it's small. Creatives don't want to compete. They just want to do their own thing. So yeah, you
Man,
can't have verses.
listen.
But what you could do is have more ciphers, because the ciphers have been the highlight for many years on hip hop. I'm sorry, excuse me, on the BET Hip Hop Awards. The
But
ciphers
it's
have been everything, and that's when I saw DJ Premier step away from the ciphers, I knew something was up. And again, you guys don't see it on the surface level. There's something going on. I promise you that there's got to be something going on. It
but
doesn't
you
make
got to
sense.
think that. But you got to really look at it as most of the artists coming up today really don't freestyle. Number one, and number two, double XL has hurt ciphers. We don't really look at the impact of the double XL freshman class stuff. It hurts the ciphers because the ciphers should be advertising newer artists. It should be advertising those who got new music coming out, and it should be advertising like our legends in the game. That's the three things it should be really focused on. So the double XL freshman class ruined it for the new artists because whatever double XL is trying to do is not trying to help promote. You know what I'm saying?
No, they're trying to promote, but they're trying to promote
Nah, not
people
no.
who
They're not trying
cannot
to help.
rap. They're trying no, they're That's been the
No,
issue with Double XL for many years now. They always want to promote people who they're not real lyricists, they're not real rappers. They're just people who have grown a following behind them
but
and they
that's what I'm
throw them
saying
on the
though.
thing. But there's plenty enough artists. If you go on any other platform other than Double XL, you can find real talent. You can find artists that could be on ciphers. Ask here. I give you a prime example. Ask the OGs. You don't think Jada Kiss know at least 4 or 5 artists that can get down? You don't think that Chic Loke don't know 2 or 3 cats that can get it in? Look
But
at Bars on
okay,
95. Let me ask you this. How many artists that come on bars on 95 end up in a cipher? Those cats can rap.
I agree with everything you just said, but the reason why I said Double XL is not trying to help is because of what they're doing. You could do like just like you said, you could have a Jada Kiss mentor a freshman. Why not have a veteran mentor a freshman? So you could say you could if you want to keep the school theme, you could have a school theme and you can get like 5 or 6 new or up and coming artists and pair them with 5 or 6, you know, legit legends in the game and have that legend really sit down with them and show them the structure and give them tips and mentor them because that's the only way. I'll give you this. I'll give you this, and I don't and I don't really agree with when you say hip hop is dying. Hip hop has a bad it's bad in the legacy. It has a terrible legacy. It's you know we everybody always likes to say who's going to pass the torch, who's passing the torch to the next person, who's accepting the torch from the past, and it's always a huge question mark as who's passing the torch, who's the person passing the torch, and who's the person accepting the torch. It's never clear across the board. So we have to change the mind state and to change the culture in order for these award shows or even for the music to get better. So why not have a platform if Double XL has that platform, then why not change it up a bit? Because what was that one we did? We did the video for the Double XL did their freestyle, and then that other company did their freestyle with like a day or two after. Yeah, yeah.
And
Like they
again, it's going to take bold, new concept content creators to do this. You know, the average people don't want to do these things.
I also wanted to add some double X. There are two things. Double XL, knowing how significant the double XL freshman class is, and the freshman ciphers are. They could definitely bring that back, and including for 2025, 2025. I know they did them separate. BT had their ciphers. Double XL has their ciphers. Double XL focuses on new artists or very popular new artists, but they still are a little biased because people get left out and
I
fans have
wouldn't
something
even
to say
say
about it.
popular. I
They
wouldn't
could
say
combine them
their artists that they're picking aren't that popular. I would tell you the artists that
today.
were on
Today,
AMP, the AMP artists are more popular. If you look up their social medias, the AMP artists were more popular than the Double XL. Go ahead.
today, I'm talking about today, that may be the case. But if you talk about 2015, 2016, 2017, it stopped between 2017 to now. I don't know what happened. But there
Hmm.
was a period of time where I looked out. I would actually look up as a young teenager, middle aged, older teenager. I would be looking up who was on the double XL to see if the artists that I had been listening to at the time or artists that I had been listening to at the time were being featured, along with them possibly combining or finding some type of collaboration between the ciphers. BBT does not need to bring back their own ciphers. That day needs to be left alone because there will never be another B. The BET ciphers used to be greatness. I feel as though they had people that may not have been artists that are streaming, worldwide, nationwide, but they had the skill set for ciphers. or freestyling or battle rap. And they also had the battle rap. Didn't they do battle rap?
No, that was 106 in Park.
Yellow Wolf?
That was
Oh,
106 in
that's
Park.
106. Okay.
The
Well,
BET Awards, I promise you, the cipher was the highlight. If you go on YouTube right
the
now
Sprite
and look
sponsor when
at
Sprite.
look at the cipher numbers, the cipher stream numbers are higher than the BET Award stream numbers. I promise you that. The
It
ciphers
used
were
to be
the highlight.
Sprite sponsored it. Didn't they sponsor
Yeah,
that
yeah.
segment?
But they had
Remember
multiple
that? But
sponsors
they
over the
always
years.
used to. They always used to. That's how I knew that was going to come on. The ciphers, Sprite sponsor, and other sponsors, BET ciphers. That was a segment that took about half an hour of the show, along with them doing, you know, that possible plan of adding the double. I would like to see that because it doesn't take a lot of work out of BET. It just takes them collaborating. BET, if they introduce in this 2024 show more young artists that were up and coming that were streaming, I'm not talking about that we don't know about, but that you had heard about, that would also bring more eyes and light to the show. I know there are a lot of young artists that were not featured during this past award show that have been garnishing a lot of viewership, a lot of eyes on their music or on their music videos. Bond of 1700. It may not be the most positive or the most, I'm just saying, a lot of rap hip hop artists that are younger that were not even added. They could have just elongated the list of best new artists just to have people in there. I don't know. I mean, the strategies could have been better instead of knowing that this is something that we do annually and we're going to see how we can just do it this year instead of improving it. I don't know.
No, I totally agree with you. And again, I don't know if we can solve this. That's why I'd like to do this again with in a on our Patreon page and bring in some callers. Just because, again, man, I know that something can be done to make this better. We just have to put our heads together and work on it. Um, I get what Kev is saying, is that it just needs a little tweaking. I just don't know if Viacom and BET wants to. I don't know if they want to do that. I
But I,
think
I
that
mean, but I go back to my original point. What they need competition.
Competition from who?
that's what I'm saying.
There's
Anybody,
That's why I
anybody.
brought up Tubi. That's why I brought up
Complex,
Tubi.
I
Tubi, Double XL are the only three that have enough
but
funding that people already pay attention to them
man,
for.
listen. I think that just like you said, they can showcase up and coming talent, and those up and coming talents, if they hard up for money, then they're not doing nothing. To go on a platform to get free TV time is something you shouldn't even expect a paycheck for, because if you the opening act, let's say you the opening act for Drake, they
Mhm.
putting you on at 6 o'clock. That's when the doors open. Doors open at 6. You're going on at 6. You might get 30 minutes if you lucky. No one is going to see you. You'll make some good money, but saying you open for Drake, it sounds good, but let's be honest. The truth is it ain't that great because no one sees you. But if you can say you open for Drake and you showed up on an award show that's
On the
probably going to be
BET
seen,
Awards.
if it is a Tubi, or if Double XL could pre-tape an award show, edit all out the cuss words and the bad stuff, and show it 4 days later, if they want to put it on YouTube, I'm willing to bet you they could get 100,000 people in at least 2 days. That's
Easy.
good though.
I
That's
think
good
You
in I
though.
saying
think in less than
views?
2 days,
Are you
24
They
saying
can,
hours.
views?
yes, they can get
What are you saying?
100,000
Views,
views,
viewership.
views, like
So
people
they
watching
would
the
have to
video.
they would have to do that. They would do the live broadcast,
They
but
don't have to
I'm
do the
talking
live
about
broadcast. Do a
that would
pre go
help.
in. No, because I'm gonna tell you why. Because some of the artists today, you cannot trust them to either look the part to come on the show or even act somewhat civilized. They're gonna say the N word. They're gonna cuss. Some of them,
Travis was cussing
if you don't
against a
have a metal
little.
detector at the door, they probably gonna bring in guns. If you let them
Yes,
bring
yes.
in more than 5 of their friends, you're probably gonna have an incident backstage. You need some sort of control. You can go ahead, have the show go on, edit out the bad stuff that don't make the network look too bad, put it out on YouTube about 3 days later, and I think you can get 6 figures within 2 days. I think you can get 100K in
You
two
would get
days.
you would get him. I believe in 48 hours you get him over 1 million. I say this
That's
because
great.
when you talk about the platforms, when you're talking about the platforms, this is why YouTube is killing Netflix. This is a total different podcast conversation for a different platform, but YouTube can occupy the viewer's attention span for an hour, 2 hours every single day for free
But that's
with
what I'm
you watching
saying
some
though.
ads.
That's what I'm
Netflix
saying.
or BET on whatever show or whomever, you had to either pay for it, you have to view it at the time, you have to record it or go back and watch it. It's a lot of other stipulations
If
to
you
that.
could get 100,000 viewers in a short period of time, you're
Take
gonna
it
make
in the
that money
first four
back in
hours.
advertising. You gonna get the money back. You're gonna get a good chunk of that back in advertising. But that's what I'm saying though. There is a place for competition, and if you can structure your competition in the right way, it's either going to make BET drop out or it's gonna make BET step up. And more than likely, BET is gonna step up because of the history that they have. So BET could just do whatever they want now. They could do a
I got it.
little ass arena, a low ass budget
It looked like a
because
club. It looked like they was in a club
there's
It
recording.
no
was a club. It
competition.
was a club.
There's no
I
competition.
shouldn't know that. You and I, all of us should not know that
Hmm.
it's a club. But
No, they
my
said
I
it.
was
They said it. They said live from Jay's Club in Las Vegas, Nevada.
and Jay's Club is gonna be the hottest thing for the next 6 months because the BET Awards was there, et cetera, et cetera. My question to you, Kev, is I just thought about this. We hadn't said this, and then we can, I guess, move on. What if, and you didn't say it either, Josh, you didn't say it, if BET Awards or the Hip Hop Music Awards, instead of being on BET, instead of Tubi, Peacock, Complex, XL, what if YouTube decided to lose some money on the Hip Hop Awards the first year?
YouTube
YouTube,
and Google are not in the business of losing money. They are
exactly.
not.
There will be viewership, but every 8 minutes they could put an ad if you don't want to live broadcast it, and you can invite, if you know how many people they're not doing it at a club, they're gonna do it at a facility that can hold, there is gonna be to capacity. And when I think about changing it to the YouTube platform, some of the artists that you would see are gonna draw in the younger audience. I can tell you now, when I was a young man, young boy, a little boy, a teenager, I used to want to watch the BET Awards because at 8 a.m. the next day, we're gonna all be talking about it. My, classmates or whatever. Who, I don't know what 12-year-old or 15-year-old cares about the BET Awards today. They're not even they don't even know what BET. They may know, but who even
I
cares?
mean, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing.
You would draw more young audience to and younger artists to the platform for this show. Don't put
But
BET. It's a hip hop music
but
award show.
but you gotta
2025,
realize that
2026.
you gotta realize there isn't a platform that has a visual just rap show period. A lot of the rap shows are podcasts, and none of the podcasts, it's a small number. It may be two that actually play music on there or actually promote new artists. So we don't have the platforms anymore. I don't, when people say, even when we look at these award shows and they do video of the year, I'm like, who's still dropping videos?
They're
You
dropping
know,
videos. They're
Visuals,
dropping videos.
visuals.
I
They
mean,
dropped the visualizer.
so like you got videos
Whatever.
of the year. I didn't even know artists still did videos. You have you have people that do TikToks, and it's like some people's TikTok videos look better than the videos from the actual artist. It's a lot of
Correct.
it's a lot of it's not a lot of effort put into what's going on. Do I think it do I don't agree that it's gonna die, because I'm always had that hope that it's not gonna die, but it's so many different options. I believe now you have more options to promote yourself or to present um something in a way to garner attention. It to be all honest, going viral sounds like a huge goal, but I think that if you have the right people that you have connections with, going viral is very easy. And even if you just created a hour and a half show, you want to put it up on TikTok, you want to put it on Instagram, you want to put it on YouTube, I think it will be a success, but it can't be BET. Someone has to say, we want to get into the business of an award show. And I mean, outside of getting the talent, I mean, just like somebody said earlier, why couldn't you went and got a video of Kendrick accepting these awards? You
Because
know,
he could care less.
but it's not
It's
no, it's not about
BET.
no, but it's no one at BET said, "Hey Kendrick, can you give us a 5-minute video saying how thankful you are for winning this award? We need you to do that 6 times, 6 or 7 times I have the awards he won. He could have did
They
six
awarded
different.
him, and they didn't care enough. Sorry, they didn't care enough.
If he's okay, 6 times 5 is
They
30.
gave him an award, right?
Kendrick could have spent 30 to 35 minutes giving a pre-recorded acceptance speech for all the awards that he's done. And if anybody would have asked him, I think he would have spent those 35 minutes doing these pre-recorded acceptance speeches. Whoever ran the show this year didn't want to do that much work. And you could say if it was budget, you could say whatever. They didn't do a lot of work. It was a down year. All award shows have down years. All of them. It was just a bad year. Now, if next year is still like this next year, if it's another bad year next year, then yes, we really have to make noise about, hey, competition, come on in. Because you can elevate your platform, because BET looks like they're not trying to do nothing because they had 2 consecutive bad years. So there is a place for competition. You have to put it, who's going to put in the effort to present competition? And I think that's the question. I
Well, it's
don't
got to
know.
make
Quality,
sense, and
the
if
quality,
it don't make money, it don't make sense.
the
The money's
quality of the
there.
BET,
The money's there. There's
the
no
quality of the
competition.
BET awards, the quality. I'm not talking about viewership. Viewership can be down. Tonys, Grammys, ESPYs. I'm not gonna go any further. Viewership has been down in previous years, but when
Yes,
you show up, it's still gonna be quality. The
yes.
BET Awards just say we're gonna throw some mess up on broadcast and put these expensive $1,000 cameras, equipment, lighting, all of that, and we're gonna do what we usually do, but we don't care about any other. It's just the content, the list. I It's BET. I love BET, Black Entertainment Television. They have decided on their own execution that they do not need to be the holders of this anymore. But I get what you're saying about the year. Could be a down year, but my thing is my point. The years that the viewership were down for other award shows, rock and roll, country Hall of Fame awards, they still have quality content. It's just the viewership will be down because it's a down year. We're talking about two different viewership content. Content is what we go to watch. I mean,
Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate this spirited conversation. I don't know if there's anything we can do to make serious changes in all this. What I would say is, I would ask our audience to voice your opinion, put it down in the comment section. Do you think the BET Awards can be saved, or do you think this is the end? This is it. The death of the BET Hip Hop Awards. All right. Get some last words from my fellows before we get out of here. Kev, any last words?
Another great debate. Is and getting Malcolm riled up is always a great thing because he sits back and chills a lot. So it was great to hear him this week. Yeah, it's just what do the people want? It just can't be the three of us giving our opinions. It has to be wide. It has to go out wide, and I think we saw that earlier this year when we had that discussion about different rap categories, and you saw it like you've been preaching since day one, structure and balance and improvement, and here it is in 2024. Everybody's catching on to it. It's so many different platforms that have been talking about they want to hear something different.
Mhm.
So it's good that people are making noise now about the difference, but what does next year bring? Conversation is one thing, but action is another. And like I said, man, you've been pushing this for since day one. And if nobody doesn't know, you can go back to our earlier shows, man. He'll say, here's how the industry look at us, and here's what they want, here's how they want to look at the younger artists. And now, so many platforms, man, so many rap platforms are talking about the balance, and we're tired of the gangster rap or the drill music or the booty shaking music. Give us a little bit more. And we have to ask the same thing about our award shows. Even the Grammys, how they do the rap, how they do the rap categories, uh Big Mike didn't even, I mean, Killer Mike didn't even get, I don't even, it wasn't even televised, I don't think.
No, that's
So
correct. It was not televised.
it's the one of the biggest genres in the world, and our awards still not getting televised in 2024. It's crazy. So, man, speak up, man. You can say old heads are making, are hating. Good. Say it. Make it loud. Say it loud. Say the old heads are hating. Say it loud so people can hear it, and but at the same time be able to have these discussions, because you know at the end of the day we all had to come together, just find some common ground. So just keep fighting, man. Keep fighting, keep pushing, and let's hope things turn out good.
All right, Malcolm, anything from you before we get out of here?
I don't believe the BET Awards needs to have any more hip hop award shows.
All right. So my last words coming out of this is just that I believe that uh, you have to understand that in the thick of things in a free market society, if the return on investment is low, then the investment is going to be low. If it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. And again, while we think that hip hop music is an amazing place and that people are listening to it and it's winning, pop music is winning every day, all day. The reason why pop music wins is because it's for the masses. I don't care what anybody says. You're welcome to come on the show, come to our Patreon shows and say, hey, I don't believe you. And I will assure you that if you can't sell music to children, and if you can't sell music to grandparents, you are not going to make any money. Post Malone is the star he is because he crosses barriers and is able to be played in certain areas. I'm not saying you can't have some adult content. What I'm saying is that the adult content can't be detrimental to society. We still live in the mainstream society, and the mainstream society does not want to see sexy red. That's fine for the youth, but the youth don't dictate where money's spent at. So with that, just want to say thank you all for listening. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. Please follow us on social media. Man, it's been a beautiful night. This has been a great conversation. We just want you guys to know that we do this for you. This is super, super important for us. We've been in this game for our life. I'm in this game for life. I think everyone on this platform is in this game for life. So again, not knocking anybody else's platform, but when you got what we have invested in this, it's worth a listen. And with that, you know what I always say, we out of here. Peace.